Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. It's Season 8, Race 3, and we're back at Watkins Glen, the super speedway of road courses where drivers have had so much history in the past, from drivers winning after being intentionally wrecked to some getting their first career win. We've seen dominance, we've seen surprises, and we're excited tonight to see who will find victory lane here this evening. Once again, thank you for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up at the booth, as always, on Monday nights is Zach Hall. And Zach, the ISRC Truck Series Race 3, it's crazy to think that we're already 3 races in, but these drivers, the favorites, are already showing up here this evening.
That they are, Sam. It is. It's going to begin here, right here, very quickly to see who is going to be the quick drivers of tonight, because qualifying can be very important here at Watkins Glen. This can be a track where it's a little bit tougher to pass. It's a higher speed road course where you get a little more strung out through those S's, especially trying to follow somebody close. So early in this race, I think you're going to want to see track position on your side, but at the same time, we know these trucks, you know, compared to what we see on Wednesday nights at the WSSR Cup Series, where the tires don't fall off really in the Cup Series cars, they fall off in these Truck Series cars. So it's going to be fun to see how they can really tackle this course by keeping track position, but also keeping control of the tire.
As qualifying is about to be starting, these drivers here tonight, qualifying is going to be a little bit longer as road courses need a little bit more time. So instead of our usual 5 minutes and per 2 laps, it will be 10 minutes per 2 laps. Now each lap's going to be a little bit over a minute and 12 seconds for some of the fastest drivers. Others will be around a minute and 13 seconds. We'll see what the ranges really look like here for qualifying, but big factors, stay on track. Incident points are going to be unlimited when we go green for our 40-lap featured race. But for qualifying, if you go off track, if any incident point is grabbed, that lap is invalidated, and these drivers know track position will be key here tonight. Drivers that have been up front, had the pole in one, have been 2 of our past 4 races here at Watkins Glen. So we'll see if these drivers can get up front, stay up front, as it is time. Qualifying underway as drivers prepare for their warm-up lap. But Zach, here at Watkins Glen, what are the big factors that you're looking for at this course for qualifying?
Qualifying, Sam, it's all about commitment here at Watkins Glen. It's high speed, like I said before. You have to commit to these corners. If you don't commit, you're just going to be giving up time on the table, and this is probably the most high commitment part of the track right here. We're watching right now with the 37 of Richard Thomas going through that bus stop chicane. It is tremendously violent as you climb over those curbs and try to carry as much speed as possible through that whole complex before you get to that carousel that sets about this long straightaway here. So that's a very, very tough complex, and like I said, it takes a lot of commitment and then finesse right after that with the carousel. So this track takes all types of skills, in my opinion, of a road course, and I think the driver who can put it all together tonight will be on pole.
As I said before, we've ran here at Watkins Glen in the ISRC Truck Series 4 times in the past. Back in Season 2 was Trent Jump that found himself in victory lane, as well with the pole and leading the most laps. Season 3, Isaac Shelley grabbing the pole, and it was John Forbes that came away with the victory. Season 4, as they ran the boot complex of Watkins Glen, it was Danny Cochran who got the pole, led the most laps, and the winner was Cody Reed, grabbing his first career ISRC Truck Series victory. Season 6 was the last time we ran here, and it was pure dominance by Vincent Sora, who led 39 of the 40 laps. The only lap he didn't lead was because he had to go into pit road. As we've seen here before, qualifying is going to be a key factor, but already seen drivers go through the bus stop trying to keep it under control is Richard Thomas. But Zach, laps are we looking for? Is it lap 1, lap 2? Which one do you think is the key one to look for the pole time?
from looking at practice, it seemed like multiple different drivers could do it on lap 1, multiple different drivers could do it on lap 2. So I think it's really about what lap you can put together. It really depends on, does the tire start to overheat on that second lap? Is right now the first few times are starting to come through, and they're very close to what we saw. I mean, Isaac Shelley topped the practice sheets. He's going to top the time sheets right now, but Trenton Jump immediately just going to take that top spot from him, pretty much matching what they ran in practice. So we'll see if those second laps around will pick up, but it seems like the first lap's very quick.
Trenton Jump did take the pole, like I said, back in season 2. That race was an adventure roller coaster for himself. He got the pole, led the most laps, was intentionally wrecked, and ultimately took the win that evening. And actually, that was his career first win for the 46. We'll see here tonight. Can Trenton Jump find a little bit more of that magic as he's 1/100th of a second over the 98 of Isaac Shelley, who's looking to better that time. The 37, Richard Thomas, going to be currently 11th on the board as he's shipping his way through the bus stop, hitting every curb possible to carry as much speed into the carousel as you take the winding right-hander before you slam on the gas and take the straightaway, are marching your way to the final 2 corners. Still Trenton Jump, top of the board. He will not be able to put down a second lap. That is going to be his time, a 1 minute 12.204, but Isaac Shelley on lap 2 says, this is mine. The 98 pull time is 1 minute 11 seconds, .956 by Shelley. That's 2/10 faster than Trenton Jump. As here comes Richard Thomas, as he is still great, just instead of our top, going to be 15. Hoping to better his time. He will go back to 11th place on the board, but Jump not going to be able to put down a second lap. That was invalidated, as John Forbes now will bounce into second place, as that's his second lap, and that's good enough for a second place position. Here's some of the other fast drivers to watch out for. Nico Garcia, who looked decently quick at moments during practice. He'll fall to 13th after qualifying is done. Mark Morales Jr., we'll see what the 91 has on pace, as didn't really get a lot of practice time for himself under this session. We'll see if there's any sneaky pace that maybe this 91 has to try to climb instead of our top 20.
I'll tell you what, Isaac Shelley there taking the only 111 we've seen so far during this whole session, and quite a statement for sure. I mean, he picked up on that second lap around, and that's what you want to see, you know, really put it all together. And no surprise for me, really, Sam. I know you know, us being here for the whole history of ISRC, we know he's a great road course driver. I mean, past winner at Sonoma, so I'm not too surprised to see the speed out of the 98. It's just going to be, can he keep it up front here tonight? Because there's so many contenders. It's a very stacked road course field when it comes to tonight.
Yeah, the big thing for Isaac Shelley is find consistency early on. It's those early troubles that really hurts this 98 when we come to these road courses where he shows a lot of strength to be a favorite to maybe get into victory lane. But this is already a perfect start to his evening, as Mar Morales is going to be a 115.1 for his first lap. He would have bested here on lap number 2. Doesn't look like any other drivers are out on course. It's only the 91 currently. So Isaac Shelley looking to be the pole driver here tonight, as other drivers deciding not to put in a time. Jesse Newsom, as well as Cody Smith, Tyler Dangler, GT Callaway, as well as going to be Justin Smith and Eric Stamp, all deciding to stay in pit road. Morales, though, across the line. Does he best his lap, or will he stay in 24th? He will find more speed, but not enough to get outside of 24th position. As 24 drivers put in a time, we still have 3 minutes and 34 seconds left. I mean, Zach Shelley, top of the board, but really our top 4 expected drivers to be there. I think the one shocker, though, Cody Reed, 9th on the board. He's not inside of our top 5 where I think we expected him to be placed here during qualifying.
That is a great point, Sam. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Reed is an amazing Watkins Glen driver. I mean, really loves this course. I mean, won around the boot, of course, layout, but, you know, still very talented around this cup layout too. So I'm kind of surprised to see him back there. Maybe made a mistake on his laps, because it did look like, I mean, 2 laps, I mean, really within a tenth of each other. So he put in both laps, but it just seemed like maybe sometimes you can, you know, as myself as a driver, I know how this can be, especially at a road course where you're trying not to make that mistake. You can kind of back that pace down just a little bit too much, and maybe that's what Cody did. But I'm sure when the green flag drops, he's going to be a driver going probably forward.
I know in past seasons we've talked about, hey, the streaks of, multiple different races, multiple different pole sitters. Well, it only took 3 races with no other drivers out on track. Isaac Shelley got the pole at Daytona to start the season off in race 3. The 98 will take the pole here tonight. Congratulations to Shelley for being a 2-time pole sitter. Now, his last 2 weeks, Zach, we raced at Daytona. Jared Talmadge grabbing his win to start out the season. Vincent Sora taking the win last week at Miami at Homestead. Are you expecting someone to be a repeat winner, or do you feel like, are there any drivers that can maybe sneak their way in with Wally Fonseca 5th and Noah Steele 7th and Thomas Green running 8th?
Some of those drivers definitely are in some good spots for sure to sneak a win out of this possibly. I mean, the road course, such a different racetrack than anything you run else on the schedule. So it's really a place for some guys to shine that maybe might not have the possibility to win some of the other tracks, might have the possibility to have a better night here. I mean, I really look at the 98. I think this is going to be a huge night for Isaac Shelley to try to go get that victory, of course. I mean, you look at guys, of course, the 11, the 15, they're championship favorites all throughout the season, Vincent Sora and John Forbes. But, they'll be right there, of course, in the battle. But I think it's really important for guys like the 98, Isaac Shelley, Trenton Jump also, who's been a past winner here, Fonseca, who's, like you said, had that excellent qualifying run, to perform here tonight and have a shot maybe to go get a victory.
A lot of front runners to watch out for, a lot of different drivers to watch out for. Here is your pre-race look at Watkins Glen. Tonight's race, a little bit over 2 miles in distance, about 2.5, a little bit under 2.5 miles. These drivers run around 8 turns. These drivers have for themselves. Air temperature currently is at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp, a warm 104 degrees. We'll see if that cools off once we transition into the race session, as we also will have a warm-up before the race, as the wind has been fluctuating from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Also want to say thank you to the major sponsors of the ISRC Truck Series and here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. First and foremost, the title sponsor of Larry Art Productions, Morecast, as well as Armadillo Motorsports, giving you your lucky Dilla. We also want to say thank you to another major sponsor that hopped on board last week as the white flag sponsor. That's Gridless Graphics, being your white flag sponsor for these drivers, and as well, newest sponsor with us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Whiplash Sim Cams. All these amazing camera shots that you're seeing from Watkins Glen are brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. We will have our Whiplash Sim Cams biggest mover when we get around lap 10 to 15. As tonight's race going to be 40 laps, no stage break, no fast repair, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road, but no stage break. That's going to be something we'll touch on later on how that could influence these drivers. As we enter into our warm-up, it's going to be a 5-minute period for any last bits of practice these drivers look for, as well as a time for us to take a look at how this season's been so far. We're going to start things off with taking a look at the point standings, as these drivers have had an incredible start to the season, but the driver who's had the best start, he's the only driver with 2 top 5s to start off the season and 2 top 10s. Jared Talmadge, top of the board. That 27 has been on a roll.
It really has. I mean, of course, the amazing victory at Daytona, but then an amazing run at Homestead last week. I mean, had an excellent battle with Trenton Jump there to get himself into the top 3. So he's definitely well deserving of that. Of course, Vincent Sora's got his win. So both those two now in very good positions for the rest of the season to try to build on those win totals and kind of build up some points for those for that chase in that playoffs to end out the season. So great start for them. But I look at some of these other guys. Look at Samuel Garcia, Richard Thompson, some of these even newer drivers up here in the mix. So this is really, really cool to see. It is early, but really cool to see a lot of new names.
It is early, as the top 16 are usually the drivers that we look at of who can continue on in this run for running in the playoffs. Also, some drivers of note outside of our top 16. I mean, Tyler Dangler right at the cut line at 17th, but we fall down to 22nd. We see Cody Reed, favorite here tonight with the fastest during practice, grab the pole. Isaac Shelley, 24th. A win here tonight could shift so much momentum for himself. And running 26, Wally Fonseca. Those are drivers we expect to be inside of our top 16. And today could be that big swing to bump them up into the point standings after tonight if they have a good run.
Definitely really could be, Sam. Yeah, I think this is the great opportunity for those drivers. You got to take whole opportunities you have, because it is a shorter season too.
It really is a shorter season. And talking about the season, let's take a look at how the season's been so far. Like we said, we've had ourselves to only 2 races for this season, Daytona and Homestead. We're racing here tonight at Watkins Glen. We head to Chicagoland next week before we have an off week where we'll be back for ourselves for Pocono, Atlanta, Nashville, Auto Club, Las Vegas before we have our all-star break. And it completely grazed over my brain. Actually, it's our top 12 drivers that will move on into the playoffs. So everyone that is inside of our top 12 in points that we just saw, those are the ones to watch out for before we have those final 5 races: Talladega, Phoenix, Darlington, Rockingham, and Kansas, for the chase to see who can take the Season 8 championship. It's been a lot of fun so far seeing the shorter season that these drivers will be running so far. I know that for the admins, they wanted a shorter season, a little bit more compact, see how this field would react. And certainly we've seen already 2 different winners than we've seen previously. Excited to see how that will continue on throughout the rest of the season. As we're under 2 minutes, that means it's time for us to take a look at our pick'ems. Who are drivers we feel like are those to watch out for that could either win or storyline picks? And I'm going to go with the driver of the 25 of Cody Reed. Reason why? He's bringing back the scheme that he won here at Watkins Glen, back in that season 4 beautiful run that he had. Can Cody Reed find that same magic? He's going to have a little bit more help here tonight. But that's 25. He looks quick, but he has to find that pace to get through traffic now. That's going to be my pick here tonight. Zach, who do you have for this evening?
Sam, I'm going to go with a past winner also. I'm going to take the 46 of Trenton Jump. I just feel like Jump is ready to get back into the winner's circle, man. He is an aggressive driver. I think you got to be aggressive here at these road courses, especially with a track position race like this. I think he's going to be up front here battling for the lead very soon.
And not a bad pick. Biggest mover in points after last week's race and finished second last week. Trenton Jump, can he carry the momentum? And our third member of our crew, Robert Moyer Jr., runs productions in the background. He's going to go with the newcomer of Alan Elwood in the 4 machine with the Elwood Designs Esports crew. Hey, that 4, we are waiting to see when he will strike with incredible pace. We had a good feeling that he was going to be one of the favorite drivers to watch out for. The team as a whole was very strong at Daytona, was starting to show some sneaky speed last week at Homestead, Miami. Could it be tonight that the 4 gets into victory lane? Those will be our 3 picks for tonight. And Zach, with warm-ups come to a close, what are your thoughts as we get in prepared to take a look at our starting grid? How are you feeling for tonight's race for these drivers?
Well, I'm feeling nervous because this lap 1 is going to be so crucial, Sam. Like you said, no stage breaks. This is going to be a crucial lap 1. If you have a big mistake here, it can really affect your whole race. So these drivers got to get that mindset ready to get locked in.
Get locked in, get ready, get loaded. It is time for us to take a look at our starting grid for the Cannata at the Glen for race 3 of the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. Taking the pole for himself the 2nd time this season already. It's the 98 of Isaac Shelley will start on the top of the board. Second place to his outside will be the 11 of John Forbes. Trenton Jump will start in 3rd with Vincent Sora in 4th. Those are going to be your top 4 drivers that are going to try to pull away quickly. The rest of the field, how will they fray is going to be the true question. 5th is Ali Fonseca. 6th, we find the 74 of Nick Crawford. 7th, we find Noah Steele with Thomas Green in 8th. 9th is where Cody Reed falls down to, and the driver who's been the most consistent of these first 2 races is Jarrett Talmadge, starting 10th.
Robert's pick's going to start in 11th. That's the 4 of Alan Elwood. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be the 17 of Mason Cassidy. 13th, it's going to be tonight's race sponsor, Joshua Cannata. 14th is going to go to the 78 of Nico Garcia. 15th is going to be his teammate, the 37 of Richard Thomas. 16th is going to go to the 29 of Logan Brakey. 17th is going to go to Samuel Garcia. 18th is going to be the 10 of Ryan Ferraro. 19th is going to go to Joshua Stovall. And rounding out the top 20 is the 00 Ethan Smith.
21st, we find the 77 of Malik Coons. 22nd, it's the 99 of Michael Miller. 23rd is Mark Libertone, as well as we'll find down in 24th is Mark Morales Jr. Those are going to be all the drivers that put in a time, not putting in a time. And 25th is going to be the 71 of Jesse Newsom. Justin Smith in the 45 will be 26th. Eric Stamp will be in 27th. Tyler Dangler 28th. 29th is G Callaway, as well as Cody Smith. Going to be our 30 drivers here tonight. For those that did not put in a time, their positions were granted based off their iRating score that they have earned over the iRacing official races. So Newsom starting a little bit further up ahead, but for the rest of the field, it is 40 laps. No stage yellow will be thrown. There's no stage at all. It's all about getting to the end of this race and talking to the drivers. Sounds like it's going to be a one-stop here this evening. So do you stretch it long? Do you go short? Going to be the true question of your pit stop to salvage your tires or not, as the field is about to be rolling off here tonight. Again, thank you to all the amazing sponsors for the ISRC Truck Series, primary sponsor being Layer Productions, Forecast, as well as all the other ones of Gridless Graphics, and also the Armadillo Motorsports Lucky Dilla. Not expecting to see any Lucky Dillas here tonight, but Armadillo Motorsports team would love to see Trenton jump into victory lane here this evening. It's got a lot of tough competition all around. Isaac Shelley, John Forbes going to be the top two starting up front. This first lap going to be critical, like Zach has noted on. The tires are cold. The drivers are nervous. You're all on top of one another, maybe for the first time of all practice. It is now race time, though, for race number 3 for Season 8. It's your Cannata at the Glen ISRC Lyra Production Truck Series. We are green down into turn number 1. Seeing John Forbes trying to find a way to get around. Going to be Isaac Shelley, but Shelley keeps his foot in the throttle. They take off and go. The rest of the field, though, hold on tight as they're 2-3 wide, some spinning out behind. It's going to be Joshua Cannata himself, but up through the S's, it's Shelley pulling away.
Cannata went around, but like you said, Shelley takes the lead there, and man, he really sent it off in the one. I thought for a moment the rear arm was stepping out. That's why I made the little bit of this audible sound there, because I thought the rear arm was going away. He definitely wanted to take control of that from John Forbes as they head through the bus stop for the first time.
And it's all about risk and reward. How fast do you want to send it into the corner? And one sends it a little bit too far. It's Nico Garcia in the 78. He spins around at the bus stop. Big loss of time. We still stay green, though, as other drivers are still trying to find their footing of how to get around this course. Warm up the tires before you can make some big passes. But here's the cluster. It's all around. Joseph's going to be Joshua Stovall, as he's got everyone trying to get around this 42 machine.
Wow, yeah, look at this cluster of trucks here all stacked up on top of each other, trying to find some space. But we saw, like you said, Garcia go around there, and he was all by himself there on the outside, but it was actually contact from the 78 into the back of the 29 of Logan Brakey. And then from there, Garcia actually got involved in it. So it was a 3-truck little incident there, and unfortunately, Nico Garcia got the worst end of that.
Looking at drivers, we're maybe going to have a chance to have 30 drivers race. Jesse Newsom, Cody Smith, both missing the start of the green. So only 28 drivers officially get the first lap in. Nico Garcia had to go make his way into pit road. Logan breaking now into pit road and starting from pit road like he always does. Tyler Dangler goes all the way down in 26th position, just up one spot because of all the fiascos and issues. He's going to try to continue his way marching forward. Speaking about marching forward, first driver up inside of our top 10. It's Thomas Green up to 7th place. That's one position for himself. Behind him, it's teammate of Jared Talmadge up 2 spots already, as the teammates from Planet Sim Racing are trying to continue on with their great momentum from last week at Homestead.
That's an excellent job by them already early in this race to get that track position.
Yeah, pass for the lead. John Forbes takes it easily for himself. We're going to be side by side down into turn number 1. Forbes with a better launch off the exit of the final corner, and he'll send it deep into turn number 1 and clear for the lead. Forbes trying to pull away, and for good reason. Vincent Soro with the fastest lap that last go around.
That's a past winner here. John Forbes knows how to get it done, and he's showing early here. He wants the clean air, and he's got out front. But will he use up a little bit of tire? That's going to be the question here. But I tell you, this track is a track position race, so it's very, very key. Is right now Trenton Jump has Vincent Sora all over the back bumper as they head to the bus stop, and Ali Fonseca not too far even behind. So very, very close throughout our top 10.
And we have a report for Nico Garcia. His race is over. He has left the server and called it an evening for himself. You hate to see that. Also, Jesse Newsom has decided not to attempt to get out on track. So only going to be about 26 drivers out on track currently, with Logan Breakey still in pit road. Pass for third underway as Vincent Sora gets by Trent Jump. It looks like for Jump, he's willing to take it easy. He wants to protect those tires, and he's going to allow Vincent Sora to just rocket ship his way forward. Again, he was the fastest lap last go around. See if he puts down another burner for the 15 as John Forbes continues to lead, and running back further back in 6th place, you find going to be Nick Crawford, and I'll even Seika in front of him as the 3 slowly catching up to this pack.
This is a great race right now for this battle, because it's really one of those chess games, and it's all mental at this point. Everybody's saying, all right, are you saving or am I saving? Because it's really hard to tell sometimes when you're out there if you're saving tires. So you just gotta do what you can. But right now it looks like Alan Elwood, he's trying to set up a pass here for the 10th position and trying to break into that top 10. A great run out the top of the S's. He's gonna get to the inside here, and he's gonna have the preferred spot into the bus stop, and it's gonna be a smart decision from Steele there. He's just gonna give it up, Sam.
Backs off and see how we can reassess and maybe pounce back out of the carousel as the 4 machine of Alan Elwood. Great launch for himself. Also a very difficult spot at times to get right off the exit of the S's. It really starts to narrow up. That truck wants to push high, and the 4 continues his way forward as makes the passes. Next driver he's trying to aim is Cody Reed in front of him. As drivers continue to race on, another trouble for the Elwood Designs Esports team. It's going to be Richard Thomas as he is wrecked off the exit of the carousel. He's trying to turn back around, and in a very dangerous spot. Looks like he's trying to finally turn around, finally will, but multiple drivers. That's a very scary scenario, trying to get by this 37, and luckily no one else involved.
Definitely a scary scenario right there for sure, and that's going to be a loss of about 10 positions for the 37. So we're going to go back here and look and see what exactly happened here as we've gone through the bus stop at the moment. Now he's going to go down to this change, so something must have went wrong here, Sam, and I'm most likely thinking it's going to be the rear end loss here, because this is where the traction zone, the corner is. You're going to jump that curb, and yep, lost the rear, fighting it to keep it out the inside wall, and then it's going to slide back across track. And look at that. Everybody doing a great job.
Hold this camera shot, because it gets scary and scarier as each moment goes by, because he thinks he's clear, revs it up, more drivers trying to get by, and then finally just driving backwards for Tyler Dangler. That must be one of the scarier things to see before he finally is able to loop it back around. Nerve-wracking moments for the 37 and the rest of the field, but again, everyone else able to narrow their way through. But big passes were made as Trent Jump, as we went to that replay, completely missed turn 1, overshot it, and a loss of multiple positions. Jump are going to be falling back to now 7th position for the 46.
I talked about limiting mistakes before. That is one mistake you can't make here, is missing one of those corners, just because of the fact that this race is going to stay green. Now Trenton Jump, he's about 5 seconds, almost 4.5 exactly behind John Forbes for the lead. That's a tough task to be dealt there, especially coming up soon here. We're only going to be at 30 laps to go to make up that much time on someone like John Forbes. So that just shows you mistakes are going to be hard to make up from. And especially, I think a mistake like that is even going to hurt the tires.
It's one of those mistakes where at an oval, you'd say if you're going to make a mistake, make it early so you can salvage and redeem yourself maybe later on in a run. Road course wise, Zach, I mean, making a mistake early, it's so tough to make any rebounds back from it.
It really is, and it kind of snowballs, in my opinion. When you make a mistake, it is so easy just to compound that mistake to try to make up the time. You know, you get in those positions where you're like, man, I gave up that much time. Now I just got to push that a little bit harder. And that's what puts you in the trouble zone of making those mistakes. So it is a very tough position to be in once you start making some mistakes. So hopefully Jump can clean that up and we'll keep him going forward. But right now, the 42 is still over there. You can see him come out that exit corner. All 3 of them right there, the 50, even of Garcia and Ryan Ferraro there in the 10. They all drifted out of that corner.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of this race, we saw the wave of drivers that were stuck behind this 42. Still holds 13th position, up 6 spots from where he started, is the Brown Crew machine. As Stovall runs 13th. He currently is one of our bigger movers of the race currently. They'll continue on with this pace, 7 laps in. Still John Forbes leading the way. Shelley about 3 tenths off. All still within a second of it's Vincent Sora for that battle for the lead, but looking at the way that these drivers in the middle of the pack are running, again, minimize mistakes. You will be greatly rewarded. But if you're up front, I mean, this is where you really, if you make a mistake, it can take or it can win you a race, it can lose you a race based off who's making the mistakes here late. And we also know from watching previous broadcasts in other leagues, pit road is going to be a dangerous spot where these drivers, you can make or break your race there as well.
That's for sure. I think Vincent sort of has that thinking on his mind for sure when he comes to pit road. Make sure to hold the pit speed. So, yeah, it's one of those things. And this track is, I mean, I can give you a little story. This track is just super violent with the curbs here, with how violently you go over them, the force feedback. It can actually rattle things off your rig, and such things as mouses that you use to control yourself, you know, your pit stop adjustments and stuff. That can be very critical, and I think he had that issue before, and hopefully that doesn't come up again, because I know this track just, again, very violent with the curbs.
As Joshua Cannata, sponsor of today's race, the Cannata at the Glen is the 16. Big mistake early in this race. Been trying to salvage as much as he can. He's currently seen that 16 machine battling with Willie Coots right ahead of him. And all these drivers searching for pace that can help them take some spots away. But I got to say, for Joshua Cannata, I know having that early mistake, it's got to be so frustrating for a driver that's so known for staying consistent and minimizing mistakes at every track that we go to, as Willie Coots, driver that is trying to find some past history speed, but he is giving it his all as that rear end kicks back and forth and still holds position over Cannata.
That he is. He is definitely putting up a defense here and trying to get the best traction possible out of those Goodyear tires to hold him off. That's the most critical thing to do. And like you said with Cannata, I mean, very consistent driver. So it is surprising to see him have that happen early. I don't know if there was any contact or if it was just a simple mistake, but look at that good run out of the final corner. He's going to look to the inside here, and this could be a nice clean pass for him here, and that's going to be a great job by Cannata there, up to 16th for the 16 truck. And now he's going to have a very much open road ahead of him, about 8.5 seconds up to the next truck. So he's got to get a move on.
He does have to get a move on, but just showing drivers deeper in the field, I think they recognize, okay, who is my true competition I'm racing, based on how easy they'll give up a position with other drivers around them. I know we've always seen drivers willing to say, hey, I'm just going to let you go. I know you're faster. And we've seen other drivers say, I'm going to be in the way as much as I can to maybe hold you back. So if you do make a mistake,
big wreck.
It's on it. Oh no, trouble, Talmadge, Greed, over the radio, they were making a lot of comments back and forth. And it looks like Jared Talmadge gets the worst out of it for the 27. He's trying to get back out on track as competition is getting around him.
Oh, man, that was a huge moment. Yeah, they were racing hard on that last lap there, Sam, and it really all stacked up very, very quickly. I think we're going to replay here, and it was even a little bit you know, they raced pretty hard. I just said at the beginning of that lap here, they're making some contact in the carousel, and right here, I think Reed is going to try to get back in line. You even got Elwood there in the Ford machine right behind him. So it's going to be 3 trucks all on top of one another. And you're going to come into this corner, it's going to stack up. And I think Reed just, unfortunately, not going to get checked up in time. Just it's hard to judge there sometimes, in my opinion, Sam, when you're that close to each other where the braking point is.
It's hard to judge, but also over the radio, Cody Reed said, you've been holding me up for too long. And, I mean, it seemed like Reed was going to give him the bumper. I don't think he meant to give him that big of a bump. But obviously for Jared Talmadge, he is going to be wounded, hurted, but we've seen drivers recover from this run. That's just a frustrating thing to feel as entering tonight. The points leader, the driver with the only one with a top 5s for both of the past races that we've ran. And he's trying to now recover and try to at least carry on the streak of top 10 finishes, but it's going to be a long road for the 27 machine here tonight. As Cody Reed for himself, he's gotten passed by the 4, getting by him. And I mean, how much damage do you think Reed might have taken from that? Because making that hard contact isn't helping your machine either.
It definitely is. I mean, even his right front, you wouldn't think you get right front fender damage from that. So I don't know if that came from something else earlier, but his right front's crinkled in, and it definitely has got a little bit of a indent in the nose, I'd so to say, from that hit there. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, like you said, if he felt like he was getting held up, it's one of those things where you got to get by someone here, because if you lose kind of that track to the pack ahead of you, it's so hard to make up that time. So he was trying to get around him, and unfortunately the contact was made.
seeing different packs blossoming up throughout the groups and throughout the field. This is what we traditionally see in road course racing. You've got your front runners, and sometimes it's just one driver pulling away and dominating, and then you got your pack of 2-3 drivers that just can't get away, and here's 2 of them that can't get away. Garcia as well. It's going to be Samuel Garcia and also Ryan Ferraro. These 2 have been attached at the hip since the start of the race, and they still carry on throughout 12 laps, going to be completing their 11th lap here, starting lap number 12. As for Ryan Ferraro, I mean, Zach, if you're in this scenario where you're following a driver ahead of you and maybe you're just running identical times and maybe you don't have the pace to pass someone, is this a frustrating moment maybe for the 10? Or are you kind of content with sticking with your buddy throughout the rest of this run?
You know, it's one of the situations where it can get a little bit annoying, I guess you could say, stuck behind like one of your buddies, and because you don't want to be that guy to be like going around them because you don't want to race each other or hold each other up. But at some point you got to race for yourself, and we'll see here. I mean, if Ferrari takes a chance at it, but these 2 definitely going at it. I think Garcia gonna have no reason to give it over now because that big slide. Now we'll see if Ferrari can run down the 2 ahead of him, Joshua Stovall and Mason Cassidy, who are about 1.5 seconds up the road.
And we'll see what pace Ferraro has. He's finally clear, going to be able to pass forward. Cassidy has been being caught by Joshua Stovall. Stovall continues this march forward for the 42. I mean, this is incredible to see. A driver that we've always talked about, super speedway seems to be his biggest strength. That's where he's gotten his 1 win so far in the ISRC Truck Series back at Talladega last season. And when we also come to the mile-and-a-half courses, we also see great speed from the 42 road courses. We're still trying to get a feel of where Stovall's pace truly is compared to the veterans that we watched in this series. But in the sophomore campaign, this is fantastic to see by one of our biggest movers so far here tonight, as we're 13 laps in. I mean, we can already crown him our first half. I would say Whiplash Sim Cam's biggest mover of the race so far can go to the 42 of Joshua Stovall as he runs currently in 12th, setting up for this 11th place pass.
It has definitely been a great start to the race for him. I mean, you know, like you said, not one of the probably strongest road course racers here, but to have a great night like this, this is the one thing I always try to give a big tip. I think I said every single time we broadcast, you can just keep it on the road and not make mistakes. You will a lot of times come out of road courses, even if you don't have the best pace, you'll come out of there with sometimes really good finishes because of people having really, really big mistakes that normally, you know, would be fighting up ahead. So it is a race of attrition. So that's why I say keep it on the track, and you never know where you'll get.
I do have an update on the 27 of Jared Talmadge, who was running at the time just inside of our top 10. The 27, Zach, from running in the 113, 1 minute and 13 second times, he is struggling and floundering to even put in a 1 minute and 18 second time. This is heartbreaking to watch for our points leader entering tonight. I don't even know how long Jared Talmadge can stay out there. Based off the pace I'm seeing, I don't even know if the engine's going to be able to stay attached to the end of this race if he's running this slow.
It's some bad damage. I mean, the right front is completely knocked off this thing. It just doesn't look like it's going to want to turn to the right-handers. You're going to see, look, he's just going to miss turn 1, let these guys go by here. I mean, there's really nothing that Jarrett can even do, in my opinion, with this damage here. He's just kind of got to make laps and just hope that other people make mistakes, and maybe he'll get some points from that. But it is a tough position. I mean, talking to him last week, he felt like this wouldn't be a good run for him. This would be like the first time he had a bad run, but he was running super well, and I think doing way better than he thought that he would. But just that damage is going to push him outside that top 10 area and really outside the top 20.
Great to see for the 27. Other great battles that are happening out on track. First and foremost, we'll talk about Tyler Dangler as the 19 continues on with his tradition of starting in pit road. He's done this since season 1. I feel like almost there's maybe been 1 or 2 races where Tyler didn't start in pit road on a road course race, but it's kind of a way that he tries to stay away from that lap 1 fiasco of maybe a big wreck strikes, and currently runs 20th. Not a bad day for Tyler Dangler here early on in the first half of tonight's race, as he's currently going to be up 7 spots for himself, tying Joshua Stovall at 7 now, positions gained, but biggest and best battle currently on track was battling for 4th. Dick Crawford, after a mistake by Ali Fonseca on turn 1, able to get by this 24, and now it's the race to see if all these tires can hold up before we get to the midway point of this race, because that 24 is now under fire from Thomas Green.
That is, yeah, Thomas Green holding on pretty well here, running 13.809 that last time by Ali Fonseca's 114.212. So a good sizable about 4/10 there between those two drivers, and we'll see if he's able to set them up. And the thing is, you know, pit road could, you know, technically be open right now for drivers to make it on fuel. But the thing is, I think tires here is what they're going to be waiting for, Sam. I think a lot of drivers are going to try to wait till that halfway point, but I think you could see some drivers take that early opportunity to come to pit road just because they might start to struggle on these tires.
Also into pit road is going to be Jared Talmadge, as he finally has to just send it in. It was just too much damage, losing too much time, and now let's assess how bad the damage is, and he's been in there for almost a minute already. As John Forbes now has over a 2-second gap lead over Vincent Sora of the drivers of note. Vincent Sora runs second, Shelley has fallen to third, and Crawford fourth. Fifth is Ali Fonseca, Thomas Green sixth. Trent Jump, he's fallen all the way down to 7th place. He stayed there for now, and it looks like for the 46, it's just see how this race turns out, because he is not showing the most incredible pace around, but these drivers are slowly being caught by the Ford machine. Back in 8th place, Alan Elwood. He isn't running extremely faster than the group ahead, but hey, he might be there if these drivers start scrapping a little bit more around that 5th, 6th, 7th position.
Over a course of a run, if he keeps up this slim margin, he'll get there. So I mean, he can still get there in the 4. He's done very, very consistent lap times, and we'll see if that can continue this time by here. And yeah, again, very consistent, 13.8, but Jump's going to pick it up to a 13.5 that time around. So it's just very close between the whole field. I mean, even our leaders run at a 13.5. So it just shows you how close everybody really is here as we near these pit stops. I'm just questioning, when will those pit stops happen? Because like right now, I'm starting to notice lap times are starting to even out. They're not really starting to fall off too much. It seems like drivers can manage it from here.
Yeah, and you know, that makes it the unique spot of what you were talking about before of, do you pit sooner or later? Because it feels like in the past, there was always the drivers that waited a little bit longer and weren't the first initial pit stoppers. They would really get hurt. You waited maybe 2 or 3 laps after someone pitted, you would be greatly rewarded later on in the race. I'm curious on who will, though, take that early jump in our top 10 of drivers to go into pit road. Currently looking at those around 10th, 11th place. They've lost a lot of pace. They might decide to pit early just to regain some time. But other battles that are happening on course, again, that 5th, 6th, 7th position, all within a second of one another. Also, the battle for 11th, 12th, 13th, it's closed in. And I got to give credit to Ryan Ferraro. He has ran down Stovall as well as Cassidy. And this 10, I mean, he might not be done making some passes, as Cody Reed going to be the first driver to hit pit road.
Ryan Ferraro having an excellent night, yeah, closing into this group here. I mean, possible top 10, you know, here, lingering in front of them. So let's see if the 10 can continue his march forward, especially, like you said, when trucks get battling, you slow down so much because you have to drive so differently. It kind of makes you not only look in your mirror, but it also just really makes you have to drive defensively, which makes the lines a lot slower. So we'll see if these two battling can bring Ferraro that much closer into him, because he's just pretty much overall quicker than the two coming from him.
And honestly, looking at Ryan Ferraro for this season, due to taking away stage points and no longer having a stage break, it kind of enables drivers that know how to just finish inside of the top 15. If you can consistently be there, you have a fighting chance to make the playoffs. With it being the top 12, you're going to need a couple of really good runs, but with Ryan Ferraro finishing at Daytona in 12th, 15th last week at Homestead, running 12th right now, Ryan Ferraro is having a great early campaign. Due to the fact with those no stage bonus points, just have good clean runs, you could fight for a chance to make the playoffs.
I really like his consistency. Yeah, that is it's opening up the doors for him, because like you said, you know, before, a driver like him that maybe isn't always running inside that top 10, especially early in the races, those stage points could really hurt you, man. Really make the gaps really big in front of you and inflate other drivers' points by a lot more. But this consistency here with this format is just going to pay off so much more, and he's definitely had that for sure. As now we look back here is the 25 Cody Reed. He's in 20th, Sam, and has already made a pit stop though. So we'll see where it all shakes out. About 48 seconds behind the leader, John Forbes.
This is kind of the nightmare, though. When you make an early pit stop, you like to pit, have a lot of clean air in front of you to put down fast laps, to build a gap over those that are going to pit later on. Be rewarded with these quicker lap times. So Cody Reed's got a grouping of 3 drivers ahead of him. That's going to be 7 to 44. Mark Labertone, as well as going to be Tyler Taylor and Michael Miller. This 25's got to make some quick work or hope that they go into pit road. Speaking about pit road, more up front drivers, Nick Crawford, Thomas Green, they will make their stops as they were getting close to battling around one another. And now it's down to pit road. See who can make the cleaner stop into their box and get out in unique. Pit road, it is on the opposite side from your traditional use. I mean, Zach, how much does this affect some of these drivers as a clean run into pit road for the 74 on the 3 machine?
It is actually a very tough pit road. Not only the entry of pit road is tough because it's just, you got to really tighten off the exit of that final corner and kind of give up any center speed you have, and then you got to get on the brakes very quickly after that, and it can kind of catch you off guard. We've definitely seen a lot of people speed at this road course before, and then like you said, it's the opposite way you're going down pit road, so you come into the box on your right instead of your left. It is very easy to get too far to the right. I have done it myself a couple of times, and if you do that, it is a killer because you have to back up, go far enough back that you can get far enough left to where it'll allow you to pit. So it is definitely something you don't want to make a mistake doing, and it's very easy to do on the opposite side of pit road.
So the pitted starting to see some clean air, are going to be putting some good times in as Isaac Shelley as well as Ollie Fonseca now going to be making their stops. For us, though, we will be going to a quick commercial break here as the drivers have put on a great show. It's been a fun one to give you the call here for the ISRC Lyra Productions Truck Series. We're going to go to a full screen commercial. We will be back after this with more from the Cannata at the Glen for race number 3 of the season. We'll be back right after this with more grid racing action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISRC Lyra Productions Truck Series. It is your race 3 of season 8 for the Cannata at the Glen. Currently, we are finishing up pit stops, and John Forbes, Vincent Sora, Nick Crawford have just finished up their pit stops. Alan Elwood was leading, but he has just entered into pit road. There's a few other drivers that also need to make their stops. Mark Libertone as well as Michael Miller still need to be going into pit road, as well as in 25th, 18 of TJ Holloway. This race has been all about survival. A couple of drivers, really big incidents have hurt them, as you see Miller as well as Eric Stamp make their stops into pit road. It's been a fun one to give you the call as we are into the second half of tonight's race. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Running productions is Robert Wayer Jr. And Zach, so far, John Forbes and Vincent Sora, they have put on a fantastic show, but the gap that once was there for Forbes has disappeared. They're now down to a half a second, and it looked like Vinny had the much cleaner pit stop.
Well, not only that, really, it was actually Forbes got a better exile pit road, but he just caught lap traffic of Mark Morales there out the top of the S's, and that allowed Vince Sora to close right in. Now this is game on. Vincent Sora's been personally a little bit more consistent, a little bit quicker. So this sets it up to now be a mano-a-mano battle, and it gets way harder if you're John Forbes to be consistent now because that 15 is right behind you. But Vincent Sora is going to lack in the downforce area now, following in that turbulent, dirty air close to that 11 truck.
Other battles are happening on track. 8th place, Cody Reed is about to be under fire from the 4 machine of Alan Elwood, who's on much fresher tires, about 6 lap fresher tires, right on the back bumper of the 25. We'll see how cleanly they can get around one another. Other close battles are happening on track for 11th place. It's Mark Libertone, as well as going to be Ryan Ferraro and Mason Cassidy. And Ryan Ferraro, due to pitting early, did jump over that 17 and should be that driver up into 4th. Here's that battle we were talking about, as well as you see Richard Thomas in the middle. Thomas has been trying to make his way through this run after his big spill in the 37 earlier on, but I gotta say, Zach, that 37's done a great job recovering for himself even after that early incident on just trying to finish out the race. As here's the 8 of Noah Steele, who runs in 10th place, and we'll see how well Noah can stay out there on track with those older tires. But so far, it's been a fun one to watch. And Zach, with us now with 15 laps to go in tonight's race, any major things that have stuck out to you so far here tonight?
The biggest thing that's kind of stuck out to me is that track position is really, really critical. I mean, it is very much still you got to save your tires, but once you get to that plateau area, there's still a management of that heat. So you got to really keep it in that zone. And I think the drivers up front are doing an excellent job, but some of these drivers out back are doing really, really good jobs too of making their way through the field by keeping the heat out of their tires, where others are kind of overheating and falling back.
I was reading the chat while we were in the commercial break. We had a question of why weren't there cautions thrown? There are no times they are going to throw a full course caution here tonight unless there is a full track blockage of going through the S's. That'd be their only zone, or coming out of the bus stop. Those are 2 spots where we can see full track blockage, and they did not happen here tonight. So we continue to race on. Also, all drivers were able to make it once they got to the halfway zone to stretch their fuel out all the way to the end. Last driver that needs to make their pit stops is the 18-inch TJ Holloway, as well as the 44 of Mark Libertone. Those are the 2 drivers we're watching out for, as going to be seeing Stovall, one of the better drivers here tonight, on making some pretty big moves. He continues on with his hard-charging run to try to get inside of the top 10, but one driver of note that I'm getting concerned about, that's Cody Reed, because he's catching up to one of the drivers that he had a little bit of issues back in lap 7. That's Jared Talmadge. Talmadge has gotten passed by the 45 of Justin Smith, but they're just a straightaway away. It's the pink machine and then the orange machine that we are watching out on. Will there be fireworks between the 25 and the 27? Because I know Jared Talmadge is frustrated. Cody Reed was frustrated over the radio. And it's the question of, will Watkins Glen give us another memorable moment here? Or can Cody Reed find a way to just sneak his way by this 27?
Yeah, that's gonna be the question. I mean, it all happened on lap 9, so yeah, you're looking at a decent amount of time between that period. So maybe everybody's cooled down, hopefully, but we'll get to see how it all works out. I mean, Reed actually right now is only about 4/10 quicker than Talmadge. I think Reed's tires are starting to really plateau, so to say. So he's just hanging on to what he has with a little bit of earlier stock. He's done a good job so far of hanging on to what he could. But I think we'll see if he can close in on that 27. I mean, at some point, they'll probably run into each other. So.
We'll keep you updated if that battle gets any closer. Closest battle on track is this one on screen. It's a battle for 6th place. Ollie Fonseca in the 24 trying to hold off the 46 and Trent Jump. And yeah, to say for Trent Jump, this was expected to be a much quicker inside of the top 4 battle for himself. Lost a lot of race pace early on, just never really was hitting his marks. Here tonight, though, late in the run, with these final laps ticking away, I think it's time to pounce. The 46 put in all the pressure on Ollie Fonseca and just hoping this 24 makes a mistake. He's had a couple attempts to go for passes, but it's always just find an opening, hope for the best. And he's going to go the long way around here on the second to last corner as Trent Jump takes the wide exit for himself. He'll keep his foot in the throttle. Fonseca as well keeps his foot in the throttle. Now in the optimal position off the exit of the final corner for Jump. Slight contact. They continue to race on, and Jump just keeping it off the water barrels.
That was close to disaster right there for Trent Jump. I mean, trying to make a pass around the outside, got loose off the track on the outside, had the inside up the corner, but that contact between them two just stepped out the rear end and very close to them barrels. That would have been a disaster, so to say. So yeah, it's one of the situations.
Reset, reassess. Jump will try to re-attack here on the next couple of laps. As we look back from Jared Talmadge, what is in the mind of the 27? Will he keep it cordial, or will there be a blow-up? As Cody Reed is doing everything in his power to just continue to press on. Reed is in 9th place. He is kind of in what we would call no man's land on positional passing. He's in the mixture of lap traffic, so this 25, not the most preferred place to be at. But you can see how he's slowly closing in on Jared Talmadge at the same spot that they had issues. It was the second to last corner where they got the ultimate contact. It was a whole lap of them getting involved with one another, but seeing these battles continue to weigh on. It looks like it's going to be another couple of laps. We'll go back to the battle for 6th place because Ollie Fonseca once again stays side by side. And these final 2 corners is where we've seen Jump really put the pressure on. I mean, it looks like for Jump, he just has to stay close, hope for a chance, and this has been his best opportunity, but off the rumble strips into turn 1, he loses all the traction, and he'll watch the 24, rip his way up through the S's.
Yeah, you want to get a slight bit of that curb in the entry of turn 1 there, but you don't want to get as much as a 46 did, but he's almost wrecking as he's coming out the top of the S's, lost the rear end, and had a huge drift. Those tires are hot because he's had some multiple slides trying to make this pass, and it just shows me how much he's pushing to try to get it done as he goes off track a little bit, but keeps it on course.
Now there are a 0 incident point issue that pops up, but we got to go back to Cody Reed, 9th place runner, because he's now caught up to the rear end of Jared Talmadge. As through the bus stop, big jump. Cody was hoping to get by the 27, didn't happen for himself. We're going to find ourselves in the same scenario that we were back in lap number 9. And crazy to think, about 20 laps later, we're right back here. And I don't expect this 27 to just get out of the way quickly. He's going to fight for everything to slow down for this 25. I take that back. Eat my words. He gets out of the way. No fight, no war. Cody Reed moves on clearly, and woo-hoo-hoo, that's what we love to see. That is one of the things you get nervous about, but you love to see that move from Jared Talmadge. Yes, your race was ruined by this 25, but you keep it, a lot of sportsmanship shown there, and Reed continues to race on.
You know, it's one of those situations, too, where, like, as myself as a driver, yeah, you're mad. You really, and you have that time to kind of sit there and stew on it, you know, and kind of build anger. I mean, if he would have called him maybe 3 laps later, we might have seen some issues, but I think he had some time to, you know, take it all in. And a lot of times you just sit there, at least for myself, and go, you know, look at the replay after and then kind of assess it from there. And if it was as bad as what you feel it looks, then maybe deal with it later. But it's one of those situations where I think that was very respectful from the 27 to do that.
Extremely. And now looking at some of the other drivers that are out on track, here's 4th place runner of Isaac Shelley, our pole sitter, running in 4th place. as he's trying to run down Nick Crawford and maybe find a way to get third place back. Looking at the last couple of laps, there are very close times between Crawford and Shelley, but the advantage does go to the 40 to the 74. As looking at other battles that are close to one another, looking at the drivers that are battling around the 11th place position, that will be Ryan Ferraro, Mason Cassidy. Ferraro was able to get by, but I keep a nose on these drivers because they've got the 37. Richard's trying to find a way to keep close, and with the battling with the lap car, slightly bringing in Joshua Stovall, as well as I was looking at the lap times for Noah Steele the last couple of laps. When he's around lap traffic, big loss of time. And Ryan Ferraro was starting to close in on this 8 machine at those times. I was getting a little bit worrisome for the 8. They could be losing out on a top 10 finish if Ferraro can find some wicked pace here in these final 8 laps, 9 to 8 laps here tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be close between this battle between this group here for that final top 10 position. So this is going to be fun to see how this all sets up as Ferraro's trying to charge up through. He's got to get around some lap traffic, of course, but he's definitely got almost a little bit faster pace. It's just going to be, can he clear this traffic fast enough? And when he's in the clean air, is he going to be quicker than the likes of Noah Steele? And really for Steele, it's just about staying consistent and hitting your marks.
Well, round 4, 5, whatever you want to call it, as Mason Cassidy tries to dive down low. This is one of 3 very close battles that are happening currently on track. That Ali Fonseca Trent Jump battle, that also is starting to rage on. I think that's going to be something to watch out for once we get to the second half of the track. But Ferraro, Cassidy, they continue to go back and forth between one another, even in the mix of all this lap traffic. That's going to be difficult. I think the hard part with all this lap traffic is some of these drivers are on fresher tires, so they're going to be trying to be quick to get through this field, but it's difficult to make all these passes for themselves. But for Noah Steele, he has got no one around him. This is the perfect place to be because now you can get in your rhythm and not worry until you look in your mirror and you see that chaos behind him.
Oh man, that is definitely some chaos back there as Ferraro leads everybody into the bus stop. It looks like somehow they all gathered it up and got single file before that bit, but Mason Cassidy and Ferraro still continue their battle. But look at this, Stovall trying to make his way through this traffic because he's trying to keep his locks on that battle ahead of Ferraro and Cassidy. So he's got to try to stay with them here and not lose too much time. That's what's tough here in these situations.
And also what's tough is if you're Stovall and you make a couple of mistakes, Simon Garcia is within distance of a big slide. You could lose out on positions for yourselves as the lap traffic continues to pressure and trying to woo Cassidy, Ferraro to just go a little bit faster as they continue on their little battles. Trent Jump has finally been able to clear and get by Ali Fonseca, but with all that battling going back and forth, the 4, it's going to be Alan Elwood. He gets by the 44 a little bit harder than he would like, but he's now right on the back bumper of these 2 that just finally got done with their squabble.
Elwood's done an excellent job this race of just staying consistent, moving his way slowly, methodically forward. And at this point, 6 is definitely still in the cards for him. And I mean, if anything, Thomas Green makes a big mistake, he could possibly get up to the top 5. So Elwood, great job for him right now and has some excellent pace, really matching with the leaders around.
Elwood has had the highs of highs, lows of lows. Finished 3rd to start the season off at Daytona, 30th last week after grabbing his pole at Homestead. And here tonight, could try to go for a march to finish just outside of our top 5 as he sees 2 easy contenders to try to find a way to breeze by. The reason why I say it could be a little bit easier, a little bit fresher tires for the 4. And with all the battling that's been going back and forth, Ali Fonseca's tires have to be screaming. And just the temperatures that they're dealing with these tires, on top of the wear that they're dealing with, the same could be said for Trent Jump, who's been trying to cool off those tires as well as battling. As the 4 gets the run, was the attempt to pass. And I know, Zach, this is always the toughest decision. Do you go for the pass at the bus stop, or do you follow the driver in front of you?
It is a tough decision. I always like to be at least alongside before you have to make that lunge. Some people will lunge it in there, but it is a risky maneuver because if the driver doesn't give you the space on entry, you are wrecking with that driver. So it is a risky maneuver, and it's a place to pass, but it's not the most optimal. I feel like this is the best setup area. You want to be great through these final 2 corners here. Look at Elwood here. Going to roll the outside, going to back up the entry here. Now cut across the center. Great exit up the inside. Set him up for turn 1 where the best passing on the track is, but Fonseca's going to block it. And Elwood says, you know what, I'm going to cross back over and see if he can outbreak him from the outside or make the 24 just make a mistake. I like what the 4 is doing, being unpredictable.
Swapping back and forth, making Ollie think more in his mirrors and maybe in front of him that he like, as now they climb through the S's and all that swapping back and forth. Where will these tires be set up for yourselves? And Trent Jumps loving this battling because it is now built a gap almost up to 2 seconds between 6th and 7th position. And for the 46, gets to pull up those tires, run faster lap times, and Elwood not able to make that pass, that go around. That's loss of time on a potential 6th place finish. Now your sights might only be set for 7th here with 5 laps to go tonight. John Forbes feeling good and confident, but that lead that he has is now down to just a second as they run on.
It is. It kind of closed in a little bit, but I'll tell you what. Oh, that battle is
no!
on. Fonseca comes around.
Elwood, Fonseca! I thought Fonseca gets spun around! Smoke all over the place. It's going to be Cody Reed sneaking his way through, and all because they were battling back and forth, block after block. And it's the 24 that gets the worst of it, but the 4 also collecting some slight damage. Here's the replay of what went down.
Yeah, you're going to see here, and you know, I wasn't sure if the 4 cut across the back bumper, then the 24 cut back across the nose. Looking at it from myself here, and we're going to get a look here. Of course, we're going to call it the exit here a little bit here as the 4 has a run. He's going to go to the outside here. The 24, though, in my opinion, is going to come back slightly back to the left there. I think they're trying to cover it off that inside there to defend it, and the 4 was there.
Take another look at it. It's just, I mean, those are those quick bang moments of you're trying to block, but you give too much of an opening for one driver to feel like they can go for that run and surge. And the 4 saw space on track, saw a little space in the grass, and ultimately went for the move, and Ollie tried to block it, wasn't there, and big contact and spin. And it's the 24, what was looking like a 7th place finish, maybe an 8th place finish. Throw that away. He will be finishing outside of the top 20, maybe even outside the top 25 here tonight, as Alan Elwood cites he's got damage now, and we'll see in these upcoming laps Cody Reed on the much older tires, maybe if he has a chance to steal this position away. But it's looking like Elwood has got some decent pace still in this vehicle, even with the damage he collected.
Yeah, I think Elwood here is still going to be looking pretty decent. Looks like a 14.3, so that matches the pace with Cody Reed. So if he does that, he'll be fine. He'll stabilize, but definitely a tough break for him there, because he had some really good pace, but you know, that was a great example there. When he got Ollie, he was a second faster than Ollie, but it didn't matter. He had fresher tires, that dirty air, and just the defense of a truck in front of you. It just shows you how much it can slow up a truck and really just kind of hassle. So it is, it shows you track position is very, very valuable.
Here is the battle for the lead. Both drivers can see one another as we're closing in on 2 laps to go. It's going to be a little bit over a second in time distance. And for Vincent Sora, he needs a mistake from John Forbes, and it's not rare to see our biggest, not easy to see those mistakes happen for these drivers. As you're going to be SimRevCam's biggest mover, it's going to be seen of these drivers in the second half. It's Tyler Dingler in the 19. As these drivers continue to race on, it is going to be John Forbes leading the way. Again, a little bit over a second. If Vincent Sora is going to take this win, he's got to see a major mistake by the 11. But Zach, it's hard to see mistakes from the 11 usually. It's very rare to see. That's what we saw this past Wednesday. But on Monday nights, mistakes are never really seen if you're John Forbes.
That's for sure, and he is excellent. Not doing it. Vincent Sora, look at him. He is drifting. That's going to be a huge loss of time. And I think that right there, not going to say it's going to seal the deal, but that's going to pretty much give John Forbes a very, very easy last lap here, in my opinion. It just have to be smooth to the finish, and he should be able to bring this one home.
If you're looking to find yourselves with graphics on iRacing, go check out Gridless Graphics, as your Gridless Graphics white flag is in the air for John Forbes. The gap now 1.6 seconds as they head into turn number 1. What a run for John Force, qualified second, waited for a chance to make the pass and pounced on it. And the 11, just beautiful drive here tonight, even with the pressure within a second at times from Vincent Sora. Sometimes it was within a half a second. The 11 really, Zach, made very minimal mistakes here tonight.
It really did. Once he got to the clean air, it has been a signed, sealed document at that point. I mean, Vincent's been matching. These two are just so close that personally, whoever got out front was going to be so hard to beat. John was the one to get there first, and look at him. He is just sailing home here to what will be first victory of the season. Is so behind him.
Keeps on drifting, and for Vincent Sora, the nightmare of finishing behind John, the one kudo he can take, at least I got a win before the 11 this season. But John Forbes, the most winningest driver in the ISRC Limited Productions Truck Series, exits out of the final corner. Your Cannata at the Glen winner is going to be the 11 of John Forbes, back into victory lane. Another season, another win for the 11 machine, as we are now going to fall back to the battle for 10th place, because Noah Steele, Ryan Ferraro is marching for a 10th place finish, and you can see it right in front of him. The 8 has to be perfect for these final laps, but how aggressive will the 10 be?
Let's see if he gets aggressive. He's caught him. He's ran him down. He was a second faster the lap before, saying so he's got the pace. We've seen, though, the dirty air's been tough to deal with. It's going to take the final 2 corners, though, to get it done.
Final 2 corners, a top 10 finish in hand, and Ryan Ferraro backs off. He's going to take the much smoother exit out of the final corner for himself. Will he go for the bump? Looks like he'll back off. Steele sends it off the exit of the corner. They'll stay in line. What incredible run for Ryan Ferraro. They'll fall to 11th place, but kudos on what a run by the 10 machine here this evening. Kudos for Steele for holding on, and that will be your last battle on track, as your victor here this evening goes to the 11 of John Forbes. Took him only 3 races this season to finally get back into victory lane, but Zach, I mean, this 11, you knew he was going to win. The question was when, and he is the first 2-time winner at Watkins Glen in the history of this track and truck combo here for this league.
That is amazing to see. Yeah, it's been, really always an epic battle here between everybody. And tonight, John just was able to play his cards right. Had the great track position from the start by starting on the front row. Took the lead from Shelly. Never looked back, Sam.
Never did. And for us, we will step away. When we come back, we will talk to our top 3 drivers, get their thoughts on tonight's race, as we've got the post-race show. We'll be back with more conversations with these drivers. We'll be back right after this. Again, congratulations to the 11 of John Force, Vincent Sora, Nick Crawford for your top 3. We'll be back in just a few moments. As we are back for the post-race show of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series, race 3 is in the books, and with no surprise, we find the 11 of John Forbes back into victory lane. This driver only knows how to get wins. As we head to victory lane to talk to him, we get a sense on what the 11's feeling as we've got John with us. John, congratulations. First win of the season for yourself. How are you feeling after your performance here tonight for the Cannata at the Glen win?
Yeah, thank you guys. Just coming in, I'm usually not great at road courses. Usually Vinny and a couple of the other guys have a good edge on me. Like especially like Sonoma last season and stuff. But I've been working on it a lot, running a lot of GT3 races and just a lot of road stuff. And then obviously with the college series coming here, I'm always putting in tons of laps with the Xfinity car, and it's really the same line here with the truck. So coming in, I knew I didn't need to practice too much. It was just kind of hit my marks, and I missed them a few times tonight, but I knew the dirty air was going to be terrible, and starting P2, I was like, all right, I got to get this move done early, and that's kind of the situation I was in last season when we came here too, with Vinny having the lead, and I think I got to Vinny's inside once last season, and from there, just the dirty air was terrible, and same kind of thing tonight. But this time we made the move early, got by, made a few mistakes. It was hard to stay locked in that whole race. It was tough. Like I had to focus on every single entry and everything because you make one little mistake, lock up the tires, you're gonna basically slide off the track with how tight the truck is. So, yeah, I'm soaking wet and sweat right now. Just staying locked in. Me and Vinny, obviously on the same team in the VC, we really didn't say much the entire race. So it was a super fun race, just the whole time trying to hit my marks and stuff. But it felt like it went on forever. I'm I'm happy it was only 40 laps tonight.
Yeah, I know that feeling, John. Definitely, always good to get that checker flag whenever you can. So, congrats on that, man. I was gonna go. You got held up by a couple lap trucks here tonight, and that kind of, like you said, the dirty air was really strong, but that kind of definitely put you under threat a few times. I mean, how did you kind of, like you said, lock back in to be able to, hold back to 15? Because y'all definitely had, I'd say, pretty similar pace.
Yeah, it was tough because I knew Vinny was stuck in the dirty air, so I was really trying to use up my equipment and just try to get a nice gap without heating the rears. And I was just starting to get there when I got stuck behind Martin because I thought he was going to the inside, or the outside, so I started to sneak back to the inside, kind of following my line through the S's, and then he came down right in front of me, and then I was just stuck behind him, and I think I lost like a second to Vinny, but from there I was just so mad it just helped me lock in from there. Honestly. But obviously Martin didn't try to do it intentionally or anything, but we were joking about it after, making it kind of interesting for the broadcast, getting the race back together close. But yeah, we were able to just hang on to it, and that was kind of what the goal was tonight. Just came in really wanting a good run because just throughout all the leagues, I've been kind of a bonehead or just making bad moves, just bad luck through the past couple weeks, and really the whole season here in ISRC. So to finally kind of settle back down, pull the reins back, and just lock in for a win here tonight, it was really cool to get back in that headspace.
Well, John, it's your 22nd career win, and it's going to be your first of this season. How does it feel knowing that you got the win early in the season? I know it's a shorter one than we've ran in the past with only 15 races in total. What is your goal now for the rest of the regular season for yourself?
Yeah, it's still kind of up in the air. It really opens the windows up to kind of go part time. I know like Danny missed tonight and Vinny's still not for sure. So it's kind of a weird spot that we were all put in because I'd been preparing for Road to Pro for a while now on like the Nexus team, and I was really looking forward to that, having like my schedule opened up, finishing up college, just kind of having the year to just sit down and do Road to Pro, and with that going away, I don't know. I've just been trying to find like something to fill that void, and ISRC has always been a great home. Obviously, like I said last season, I feel like I've kind of grown out a little bit, but this season is just kind of having fun with Vinny and Danny and Justin, trying to help my brother every single week here. And he's got all kinds of commissions and stuff going in, so it's looking pretty good for all of us right now. And we're just gonna keep going with the flow and see how it is week in, week out. But at this point, there's really no set plan if it's gonna be like a championship run part time, but we'll see how it goes from here.
Well, whatever decision you make, we cannot wait to see you out on track again. John, before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, this list is always building, so I just got to thank JD Performance always being on board. Me and my dad, just a little side hustle we got going on with our Instagram and posting all the cool hot rod stuff we do. And then my brother Justin for recently rebranding. He's running gridless graphics now. Go check him out. He'll set you up with a better deal than most guys on the service is trying to get his name out. So if you're looking for any type of cool schemes stuff, just go hit him up. And obviously eFlex Fuel. Always good to have them on board. And then the new sponsor Nexus being on their program, that's been super cool. A lot of cool guys over there. So and obviously for you guys putting on the broadcast every week, thank you guys.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show. That is going to be the 11 machine of John Force from CSF Racing, taking the win, his first one of season 8. John, enjoy this one, and good luck next week at Chicagoland if we see there out track.
All right, have a good night.
As that will be your victor here tonight of Cannata at the Glen of John Force. We now head down to second place, get his thoughts on his run here this evening. We bring in Vincent Sora in the 15. Vinny, you come away second here tonight. We saw it on the broadcast there in those final laps. You were giving it its all this truck had left in it. How are you feeling, though, with your performance here tonight?
I feel good. I completely threw this race away in qualifying. I was on a burner on my first lap, and out of the very last corner, just trying to get that extra, 10th or 1,000th or whatever it would have been, I just barely got the left rear into the wall, and it gave me a 0x, which automatically gets rid of the lap time you're on, and I was still lucky enough to salvage one to start me P4, but it just gave John the chance to get through those guys a little bit quicker than I could, and by the time I got around Isaac there, John already had like a 2-second advantage, and the dirty air is really brutal. Like you said, if you guys were watching me on the last few laps, I mean, I was just trying to get every last bit out of it, but still, if you're behind somebody, the rear end of the truck here is just stepping out, and you can't do anything about it, and it's nearly impossible to make time in some of the fast sections of the track. But yeah, John was on rails tonight. He didn't really make any mistakes of his own. He got held up by a lapper there, and I thought it was going to maybe win me the race, but then as soon as I got within like 5/10, it just made the truck feel even worse. But yeah, John did a heck of a job tonight, and I just needed to do a little bit better in a few areas that I'll clean up for the next one.
Definitely a great battle, Vinny. It was fun for us to watch up here. Everything ebb and flow, and definitely could tell from up here that the dirty air was definitely a huge factor here when it came to trying to run somebody down tonight. But man, I tell you, you really put on a show for us trying to come through the field after like you said, the mistake from your qualifying position. How do you think you could have maybe positioned yourself better on like the first couple laps? Because it's tough, like John did right there. Of course, he's on the front row, but how do you feel like you could have maybe got to that position in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough to say. Maybe just being a little bit more aggressive the first 2 laps, but it's one of those things where like I'm sure I had an opportunity maybe, but I don't want to make a move trying to get something too early and cost myself or somebody else the rest of the race. I would then just feel terrible for the rest of the night. So yeah, I don't know. I think probably just ultimately comes down to that qualifying lap in the starting position. I think if I was in Trenton's spot in P3, I would have been a little bit better, but starting on the outside down there into 1, and then having to make sure I don't run over John, and then Trenton has the preferred line down into the S's, so I have to give that spot to him because it's just senseless to go up there side by side on lap 1. But yeah, I don't know. I think that qualifying lap really hurt me, and from there on, it was just a kind of uphill battle.
Well, Vinny, moving forward, heading to Chicagoland, Pocono, and then Atlanta, the 2008 configuration. What's your feelings on these upcoming races? Because it looks like from our point of view, you're going to be one of the favorites to watch out for these next couple of races.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely make that claim, but the guy who beat me tonight, I'd say might be just a little notch ahead of me there. Chicagoland, he killed everybody last time, and it's definitely one of his top 3 tracks, I'd say. From watching him drive away from me, I'd say it's got to be one of his top 3. Pocono is one of my best tracks, though, so I'm hoping I can get through Chicagoland and maybe finish second to John again, and then go out and win Pocono. And then Legacy Atlanta, I think I had really good pace last time, but a lot of stuff got shaken up there at the end, and I think Larry won that race, and I finished second to him. So yeah, I like the tracks coming up. They're definitely some of my favorites, and I just need to execute perfectly on my end and hopefully get a couple more wins.
We can't wait to see how you perform, Vinny. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, definitely shout out to John. I didn't know that he was good at road courses now, too, so that sucks. But now he was on rails tonight, so definitely congrats to him. Shout out to everybody on the team over here at Cochran Soar Forbes Racing. I know Justin and Danny weren't with us tonight, but I'm sure they'll be back next week, and I look forward to having them around. Shout out to all the admins over here. They do a really good job, and it's good to get the season back rolling. And you guys for broadcasting.
Oh, we cannot wait for these upcoming weeks. We need to see how you perform. Congratulations on second. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Chicagoland.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too. As we move from third place, we go down to, from second, we go down to third to go talk to the 74, Nick Crawford. Nick, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. Third place for yourself. You got to see a couple of great battles around you. Got to get by some guys. Ultimately third. How are you feeling after your performance here tonight?
Well, with every road course, I'm feeling good with a good finish. Also a little bit sweaty, but we got the air conditioner. It's starting to get warm here in Vegas. It was about 75 degrees today, so not ready for the summer. But it's a good finish. I don't think I had anything for the top two guys. Maybe if I was on the same pit strategy and a little bit closer, but no, they were just too fast.
Nick, I tell you, man, great job by you climbing through after starting sixth to get to here on podium. But, you know, do you feel like tire management was at all a factor tonight? Because we've seen you be one of the best at it. It just seemed like tonight maybe track position was maybe more of a factor.
Yeah, when it comes for the win in the first, or I guess position in the first run, that was when it was really important. And then when it came to the pit stops, you really just had to race who you were around at the time. And right then it was Isaac. So I think I pit like one lap before him because I felt like he would come down the next lap if I did. And ended up holding him off. I think he overdrove turn one and got a slowdown. But I didn't think I was going to catch those two guys in front, especially when they got away early. So I think tire saving was important, probably for them. But with iRacing lately in the stock cars, it seems like clean air can either be really good, really bad. So I honestly don't know. It's hard to tell.
Well, I know people are going to be fighting for the clean air in these upcoming races. We got Chicagoland, Pocono, and Legacy Atlanta. What are your thoughts with this upcoming trio of tracks, and how do you feel like, what is the ultimate goal, I should say, for these upcoming tracks?
I would say just probably get a little bit more practice, get a little more refined with the driving during the race. I've been kind of relaxed on practice and not worrying about it too much, just doing it here and there before and after work. So if I wanted to do better, I probably would practice more. These guys are just good already, even without practice. So yeah, I'd probably have to practice and just work on getting clean air, qualify better. I've been qualifying in the back half of the top 10 for the last few races, so that might help. But just getting better overall probably be the best way.
Well, I cannot wait to see how you perform in these upcoming races, Nick. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Of course, I always have to shout out my beautiful wife. She's amazing. Shout out the sponsors on the truck for the first time. Lo-Fi Latte on YouTube. We got Larry Art Productions on the truck now. Shout out to him. Go watch his stuff. Bert Irvin Music on Instagram. He's a good one. Shout out to the teammates. They're fun to race with. I'm glad to be on a new team this season. Not that the last season was bad. Just saying, I like new things. And then shout out to the admins and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Well, thank you, Nick, for giving us such a great show to call. That will be the 74 machine coming off from Cannon Fire Racing. Enjoy this third place finish, Nick, and good luck next week at Chicagoland.
Thanks, guys.
As that will end our interviews here tonight. Again, just going to do our top three here this evening as we get prepared to take a look at our unofficial results here tonight. Race 3 in the books of your going to be Cannata at the Glen. That 16 machine didn't have the race that he was hoping for, but a lot of other drivers are going to enjoy their finishes. One of those being John Forbes. His last win, well, was when he crowned himself the champion at the end of last season at Chicagoland. That's going to be our next destination. But his first win of season 8 is at the Glen for the 11. Vincent Sora will take second with Nick Crawford third. Isaac Shelley, our pole sitter, will fall down to fourth. Thomas Green, top 5 finish for the 3. Gotta love that for himself. Though his teammate wished for a better day. Trent Jump will fall down to 6th place. Alan Elwood, even with his moment with Ali Fonseca late, will come away 7th. Cody Reed, after his moment with Jared Talmadge, will come away 8th. The 9th goes to Mason Cassidy, and Noah Steele defends and holds off Ryan Ferraro for the final 10th place position.
Yeah, and as we look to the rest of the board, I mean, really right there, 11th, 12th, and 13th, Breaky, Stovall, and Ferraro, they all did a great job coming through. So congrats to them, really coming up through the pack. And other guys having some tough nights, just trying to make their way around the track and just get the laps in that they can. So they're going to bring home what they could to get points here at Watkins Glen, Sam. It's sometimes just survival for a few of these guys.
Survival probably is the best word to call it, as two drivers did not take the green. That was going to be Jesse Newsom and Cody Smith, who missed the start. Hoping that Jesse Newsom can get whatever issues going on. I know he was trying to get in the server and race. It just wouldn't let him stay in the server. We hope that is fixed for next week at Chicagoland to be our next race to watch out for. We've got plenty of other racing action as well that we call here on Freaky Fast Broadcast, and we got Mondays and Wednesdays for you. Usually we're here on Mondays giving you the ISRC Truck Series. Wednesday, crazy to say, it is slowly cutting down on the season. We're just a few races away from crowning a champion and a race away from figuring out who's going to be in the final 6 racing for that championship. It's the WSSR Cup Series. Don't want to miss it. I know, Zach, for you, you're in a tough spot heading into this Wednesday, but it should still be a great show to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's close. In not the greatest positioning to go get another championship, but hey, we will do the best we can. But I tell you, everybody out there, like Sam said, tune in because it's going to be quite interesting. New Vegas too with the updates, so you're going to get to see some new art styles.
New art styles. What does the track look like? How does it feel? A lot of new things you don't want to miss. Las Vegas Wednesday night for the WSSR Cup Series, the end of the round 11 to figure out the 6 drivers that will race for a championship. For us here tonight, though, I want to say thank you for joining with us as you got to see Watkins Glen. It's the Cannata at the Glen. Race 3 is in the books, and John Forbes takes the victory. His 22nd career win. He continues building on all of the wins that he grabs with all the cameras that we got to see here tonight. And also moving forward, I want to say thank you to Whiplash Sim Cams for being our camera provider for Freaky Fast Broadcasting, a great partnership that we just got on board with us, as they also are our Whiplash Sim Cams biggest mover of the day. And officially that goes to the 19 of Tyler Dangler. Started on pit road, marched his way up to 16 based off where he was placed in qualifying, up 12 spots. Congratulations to Tyler for being our Whiplash Sim Cam's biggest mover. It certainly was a great day of great racing. We're happy to give it to you here on Monday night for the ISRC Layer Up Productions Truck Series. From us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, for myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else that helps out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us on your Monday evening. We cannot wait to see what next week brings for us. Chicagoland, a track that, again, brings us great drama, great action, and can John Forbes dominate again, or can someone else steal the show? You're going to have to find out next week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for more ISRC Truck Series racing. Can't wait until Monday. We will see you on Wednesday night, the last race of the round of 11. Who's racing for a championship and whose season is done? You'll have to see on our next Freaky Fast broadcast on Wednesday, Las Vegas. Don't want to miss it. We'll see you then. Well, have a great night, ladies and gentlemen.